Thanks for joining me today. I wanted to talk preschool items, preschool curriculum. What do we love? And I have some things that I like, I enjoy using, I think they're great, but I am honestly still on the hunt for more things to kind of round it out, or a more complete preschool. So if you have suggestions, if you have some preschool items, resources, even a full curriculum that you love, please comment and let me know, because I would love to know those resources. I'm still building. I have some things, but I really feel like I need a little bit more to round out what I have. So I would love to know the things that you guys like to use. But on that note, let's just start with probably my number one preschool item, the thing that I've just really liked and would highly recommend, and that would be Preschool Math at Home. And this is not an uncommon book, so you may have heard of it, but it's not worksheet based. It doesn't require writing. It doesn't require any fine motor skills. So super gentle. It's really just game-based number awareness, counting, comparing larger and smaller items. And there's a lot of facets to counting and numbers that I would never have thought of until doing some of these books. And just to give you kind of a glimpse inside, it's just a really basic short instruction. It gives you the purpose of the lesson, the materials needed, what the activity is, and then kind of a note on it. And that's one activity. And that's for you as a teacher, and then you do it with your child. And then another. And they really do recommend, the author, Kate Snow, recommends working through from front to back because it builds on skills. But it has a few sections in it. Section 1 is counting to 5, and it's got at least 11 different activities to practice counting to 5, the different facets of counting, not just counting, but counting items, counting and being able to stop when you reach 5. And I didn't realize just the nuances and the difficulties my child would have some of that, and that these are actually really valuable things to practice with them. And then they have a little, is my child ready to move on, so that you can kind of evaluate. Then a chapter overview, and the next one is counting to 10, then numbers from 0 to 5, numbers from 6 to 10, written numbers from 0 to 10, comparing quantity and numbers, addition and subtraction stories, and then an appendix with a few black line masters that you'll use for a couple of the activities. Highly recommend. This has been great. I will use it with every single one of my children. I've used it with my oldest. I am in process of using it with my second. And just, yes, 5 stars. And that is really my main curriculum piece that I found. I haven't found a lot of other curriculum that I love, and partly because I'm not massively crafty, and so I don't mind doing something crafty or play-based, but I don't want something that's complicated. I don't want something that takes a lot of time or a lot of cleanup. So I like the hands-on, but I like the hands-on within limits. So again, if you have suggestions, especially for things about letters, please let me know. The things I do have relating to letters that I like is I have these just a simple magnet letters. You could really use any. I got these off Amazon, $10 or something like that, and these just go on our fridge, and our kids love playing with them. So that is one resource that I do use. Another one with letters is this foam puzzle that very easy. The letters just kind of pop in and out, and they're very tactile. You can see the shapes. And this is also a resource that my kids really, really enjoy just playing with. So I use that. You can practice the alphabet with that. Sometimes it requires a little bit of help depending on their motor skill to kind of help them push it into the right place or not shove the P and D spot or whatever, but very simple, and they enjoy it a lot. I also use alphabet books or ABC stories or whatever, and I have probably my favorite 3. I have a lot more than just 3, but these are the ones that I really, really like. And probably my number one that I really like is this Dr. Seuss ABC. And we just love Dr. Seuss because I enjoy reading it. My kids think he's hilarious. They like the art. I like that there's a rhythm and a cadence, and it's kind of fun. But another thing that I like about this is, I'll find a page that makes it pretty easy to see. So Big B, Little B. And I like this because as my kids learn their letters, I have them help me read. So I point to this and they'll say Big B, and then I'll point to this and they'll say Little B, and then I'll say what begins with, and they'll say B. And then I'll read the next page, and we'll do that with the next thing. I'll point to it and they'll say Big C, Little C, what begins with C, camel on the ceiling, and so they get to interact, and then periodically throughout it goes through the alphabet that they've already learned, so I'll let them do it. They'll do A, B, C, D, E, and then I'll read the rest. And so it's an interactive way for them to recognize the letters on the page, and they love it, and I love it, and I just think this is a great book. The next one that I would say we enjoy is this Chicka Chicka Boom Boom book, and this is super popular as well, for good reason. It's fun to read, it's got a nice rhythm. Again, if you wanted to, the letters are a little small, so I don't really have her do this as much, but you could have her say the letters as she recognizes them. But we do this whole book, and then at the very end, I have her go through her alphabet. And I point to it and I help her, and we get to practice the alphabet that way. So this is another good one. And then another one I like is one that I actually have one both for letters and for numbers, and they're both the same format. So I'll just kind of show you through the letters one, but I have them both. And it's a trace. So with their fingers, this is indented, grooved with ridges so that they can feel, and you do 1, 2, and across, right? And then it has a little flap that has A is for apple and for ant. Then you can trace the B. And so this is more tactile than most books, and it gives them the opportunity to kind of learn to shape it with their fingers without any stress or perfecting or anything like that, but one other sense. And it just flips through. And the number book is the same. So I like that. And then for letters and numbers, also kind of both, I tend to go with some flashcards, and they're not my primary source, but we do kind of flip through every day. And so I just got some basic, cheap dollar store, wherever I found them, flashcards for numbers, 1 through 100, and I just slowly add one in every time. As she learns the ones we have, I start with like 2 or 3. As she knows all those, I add one more. And I add one more. And I only go to 10 to 15 just to kind of give them that basic, because they'll learn the rest of their numbers in math, but I want to give them at least through 10 where they can have number recognition. And then with letters, the same thing. We start with 1 or 2, and we slowly loop another one in as she gets familiar. And with letters specifically, these are actually ones that I printed off myself, so they're not glamorous. But I specifically stay away from ones that have pictures because I want her to learn the letters, not the pictures, and ones that are different colored. If you only had 3 colors, I'd be fine with that. But where every letter is a different color, again, I want her to learn the letter, not the color. And I don't want her to be able to associate red as A and to know who A, because especially for my middle daughter, she has a little bit of a harder time connecting with the letters and recognizing and having them stick. And so I want her to learn the letters, not the colors, and I think she would default to that. So we do flashcards. And that's really what I have for letters and numbers for her. And I know it's not a ton. Every now and then I print out some work pages, but I haven't really found a work page that consistently I like. And by work page, I mean circle the A's or color red all over anything that has an A. Nothing that's really fine motor skill, but she thinks it's fun because her older sister has some work pages, so she wants them. So I'm still kind of on the hunt for those. But the other thing that we do, and this is with both of my girls, is a little nature notebook. And this is probably their all-time favorite. And what that means is during the week, I get library books on whatever animal they want. I let them trade turns picking. So giraffes, and we read a book about a giraffe every day. I might find a YouTube about a giraffe, just 2 or 3 minutes. Just something that's interesting. They learn some random facts. Giraffes are mammals. They're the tallest animal. They live in Africa. Nothing super in-depth. It's fun. It's just kind of getting started. And then I got at the dollar store these little spiral-bound notebooks, and I made my own little covers and just printed them off. And inside, we do just some really basic. So for peacocks, I printed a peacock. I printed a colored page. They kind of had to color it the shade of the peacock, and then they got to tell me anything they remembered from what we read or what we watched. That was peacocks. Sometimes I'll find like a little lap book. So for zebras, she got to tell me what she remembered out of zebras. And then we had this little lap book. It just opens, and when a zebra pulls back its ears, it shows its teeth. It's angry. And so I do the writing for them because this is a little bit beyond their writing skills, but they think it's so much fun. They love the animals. They love learning about them. They really enjoy their notebook. And you can see I let them help me color and paste, even though it's not neat, even though it goes on the wrong direction, because it's, again, a way to practice those motor skills. And they love it. So you can see she pasted this one on upside down. It doesn't matter. We just wrote it upside down, So this nature notebook has been excellent, and we all enjoy it. And lastly, I don't do it as much as I should, but reading with them. And we do once a week do a poetry tea time, which I know they don't get really the poetry, but they love the tea time because they get little animal crackers and they get to drink tea with me and use fine cups. And they sit there and they listen to good poetry. Even simple poetry. We've been going through Winnie the Pooh's poems, some of Robert Louis Stevenson's childhood verses, and I feel like it's a really good practice just for them to get familiar with the cadence and rhythm of good poetry, good writing. And so it's a good time for us to hang out and enjoy that together. And so we do that as well. And that's really the things that I have that I love with my preschool stuff. And those are all things that I'll continue to use, but it doesn't take much time and it doesn't need to. I am still looking specifically, like I've mentioned, I really like that book for numbers and kind of the beginning math, but I don't really have any sort of guided anything or worksheets or anything of that nature with letters, and I feel like I'm looking for something that ties it all in together, or even a curriculum that is literature based, that ties it all together, that read alouds with them and does it. And I would love recommendations for what you guys have loved, or anything that you would add to this. If you have any questions, please let me know. But yeah, comment below any recommendations you have for me. And if you enjoy this video and want to see more, like and subscribe.